Very good afternoon to everyone on frequency. A good morning to you, Ed, in South America. Good afternoon to everyone in South Africa. It's almost a South African net today, and we're also missing one guy. That's ZS1 Mike. I just wish to to thank the Qatar Amateur Radio Corporation or Amateur Satellite Corporation for allowing us the opportunity to use part of their satellite. Also to AMSAT DL and AMSAT UK, and of course the BATC for their valued input, assistance, guidance, and knowledge that we've all gained, those amateurs that are partaking in this wonderful mode. Today we have a rather short net. Summer in the UK, guys are out and about. They're not sitting in the shack like we are now in the Southern Hemisphere. But today we have Frank. Haven't seen you for a while, Frank. ZS6 Golf Echo. Hello to you. Hello to Papa Yankee 2 Radio November in South America. And he'll be talking about Voyager space probes. And I wonder, Ed, on your over, if you could tell us how you're shaping with the GPS disciplined oscillator on the LNB. Hello to Tom, ZR6 Tango Golf. Tom said he didn't have much to do this week because he's been too busy at the salt mine, but it doesn't matter. It's good to just sometimes have a get-together and a chin wag, as the older radio amateurs used to say. Hello to Henry, ZS6 Mike Charlie. You'll be dealing with the South African Culture Fair. I presume your video came out okay there, Henry. That looks good. Yeah, ZS1 Mike won't be on today as he is attending his sister's birthday. So we wish her well and I hope he has a good time. But he will probably look at the transmission a bit later on YouTube. So without further ado, let's pass it to Frank. And oh yeah, Frank, just to mention, I did send you, as you know, the data on the specs of the antenna for the beacon. I'm not terribly happy, but it's still to spec. I downloaded the manual the other day. It's well just within specification. It can be tuned a bit better. I don't think it's going to make such an awful difference. I've been monitoring the beacon, same strengths right throughout. We get 47 hits and then suddenly 24, etc., as you've probably seen on the records back. So there's nothing at our end. It could be just plain conditions. But I'm thinking of perhaps changing the antenna, but I'm going to put an email through to the guys running this beacon project and just get their advice. I'm looking at a totally different antenna that has a slightly better Q, I think, and also better power handling. So, okay, that's that, Frank. Maybe you can add some info on that. ZS6 Golf Echo to take it from Zulu Sierra 6 Yankee India, standing by.
Yeah. Okay. Just make sure that my mic is on. Good day, everybody. Looks like it's a Southern Hemisphere job today. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I missed last week. I had finger trouble with OBS. Couldn't get the camera to work. Well, the camera worked, but I shifted it somewhere off screen. So I thought, okay, no problem. I can use my iPhone. I have an app. Only problem is that didn't work either. Okay, I have a third app for my Canon camera. Connected that up. Didn't work. Anyway, so I spoke to Gary afterwards and we got the OBS sorted out. The apps had something to do with the upgrade to Windows 11. That is my only answer to the problem. because I deleted them and I reinstalled everything new, and now all 3 cameras are working if necessary. Anyway, and I also did some, I couldn't call it spring cleaning, but periodic sorting of electronic scrap. When the cupboard gets a bit too crowded, then I start chucking things out. So something like that. You can see that is about sort of 1 year's surplus. One tends to keep the odd drive and one tends to keep the odd PC card. You know, it might come in useful. On the right hand side is all the TV mast amplifiers and power splitters and all that sort of thing, which is now all useless because everything comes via satellite or via internet. And they're also changed over locally now finally to digital. So yeah, I decided it's time to let it go. I had a guy that actually was so kind to collect it. I didn't want to chuck it into the normal rubbish, and he was quite happy to take it away. Obviously, I didn't want anything for it. Okay, Gary, yeah, with the antenna, see what they answer. It's a bit of a mystery because, you know, as long as the transmitter puts out the full power, that is slightly off frequency, it shouldn't make much difference. But okay, we'll sort it out eventually. One more question. I would like to know how to receive the wideband spectrum, like that QuickTune little software we use here. It's dependent on the internet. So is the Pluto firmware also depending on the internet. And when the internet is down, it becomes rather tricky. I don't like it. So the signal from the LNB is strong enough. I could split it and feed it to some sort of second receiver, a dongle or something. But what could I use to receive the whole wideband band as a spectrum, essentially? Primitive spectrum analyzer, but that is wide enough to show everything. So any suggestions would be welcome. Then now it goes to Ed. PY2 Radio November, ZS6 Golf Echo.
The introduction should have sound, but I didn't. I don't know. But anyways, I do have sound now, which matters. So good. Yeah. Hello, Frank. Hello, Gary. Tom and Harry. Looks like today's gonna be a neighbor's net. At least latitude neighbors, you know, South Africa and Brazil. I think maybe it's too hot for the guys in Europe or India or in the northern hemisphere to turn on their DATV amplifiers, maybe. Okay, glad to be here. Nothing much going. Oh, look, there is a guy from UK, Nick. Go for India Mike Oscar joining. Gonna be glad to see you, Nick. Thanks for joining. Not much. Actually, yes, Gary, answering to you, it's ready. I just modified this LNB to accept the external reference, putting that cap you indicated, and I bench test it, and seems working fine. So as soon as we finish with the net today, probably I'm going up to put this new LNB. Actually, I do use you know, those type of dual band feeder, which is the helix with LNB. So it's much easier to make a new one than you know, take the LNB from the one it's there and make the work. So I just did another feeder, which is easier. For Frank, Frank, I can suggest you. Yeah, I have the same feeling. Don't like to rely 100% on the internet for anything, and to monitor the wideband spectrum, what I did, I went to the Chinese site AliExpress, and you just search for I think it's Tiny SA. It's Tiny Spectrum Analyzer. I see my image is growing up a little bit. I don't know why, but yeah, you get it's about I think it's less than it's around $30 to $40, and it will give you a nice and it comes with a little display, and it will give you a nice view of the spectrum. Yeah, I see my image is graying lots and lots. This times lot here for me, not times lot. This is lot for DATV is the worstest one. This last slot. I don't know if I get some QRM or something like that. Yeah, but I see that that everything is graying up. So I don't even will not play the very nice movie I did for the space probes, Voyager, because probably you guys will not be able to see it at all, because my image has problems. I know that you guys can hear me, but I'm getting problems with my image. So that said, we have also Nigo joining after Nick, so I'm sure that Gary is checking the list. But now I'm going to Tom. Probably, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Reset everything here, and maybe in the next turn I will play the movie for the space probes, Voyager 1 and 2. So Tom, sending to you there, South Africa, again, Zulu Radio 6 Tango Golfi. This is Papa Yankee 2 Radio November.
Thanks, Ed. Papa Yankee 2 November, Romeo November. Yeah, from Zulu Romeo 6 Tango Golf. And hi to everybody on the net today. Ed, I don't have any problems with your pictures whatsoever. Your video came through perfectly all the time, so no issue receiving you at all. So I don't know if you're just having issues on your reception side maybe, but I had no issues receiving you at all. Okay, yeah, hi everybody. Hope everybody's been doing well. yeah, we can almost, apart from the latest editions, we can almost call it the 4 South Africans and Ed Net. So, but yeah, good to see everybody, and yeah, I think the English and the Germans are maybe struggling with the heat there. I heard on the news this week it was quite hectic the last 2 weeks there of temperatures. So that's probably why. But yeah, good to see everybody. Yeah, from my side, not much new. It's been pretty busy at work. All kinds of stuff happening there at the moment. Exciting stuff, good stuff. But yeah, it was pretty busy. I did start to clean the shack a bit yesterday, make space for a few new projects. You'll see on the camera it doesn't look like it's cleaned up, but if I switch to the other camera, I think it's this one. See, that side looks a lot cleaner compared to the other one, although I prefer the other view. Yeah, see, that's the normal busyness side of things. Sorry. Frank, I've got another alternative for you as well for offline spectrum. Something that I've been putting together for Leon actually. Leon ZS1 Mike also wants something similar. In terms of receiving, your biggest problem is getting a SDR that's got the bandwidth, or there's software available that you can use a RTL dongle and then it basically scans through. I'm busy working on something similar, but what I've done so far is using the AirSpy SDR. I've basically set up all, let me see if I can show it, yeah. I've basically set up an offline version of the spectrum monitor. It looks, where is our computer display? There we go. So it's basically similar website effect, but it's all running off a Raspberry Pi, and it shows the exact spectrum monitor. It uses the same code, and I've also modified QuickTune so that it can use the same spectrum data. So QuickTune is then also off the internet, and I even played around and I made a little Raspberry Pi clock out of it, so it shows a little display with the live spectrum. And yeah, it works pretty well. I'm currently working on a version that uses other dongles as well, but that one's going to be a bit more time. But yeah, if you want to get up and running fairly quickly with something like that, then AirSpy dongle. It's got 10 megahertz bandwidth, so it shows everything in one go, and it's nice and quick, and it's exact same setup than what they use for the online version. Let me know if you want more details. Otherwise, just have a look on the website, the ZR6TG. I've got all the software and all the information on there, so you can give it a try. And then, yeah, like I said, I am working on a way to use one that will use a cheaper dongle that basically scans it through if you have lower bandwidth. But yeah, it's another option. But yeah, like the other guys mentioned, there's quite a few options there around. Okay. Yeah, that's essentially all for me this week. Looking forward to those videos of yours. So hopefully we can see that on the next round. Like I said, really had no issues whatsoever to receive you there. And yeah, I'll probably have comments on all the new stuff that we see today on the net on the next round. Okay, I'm gonna hand it over there to Henry then. I see, yeah, like Ed mentioned, we've got Nick and Nigel coming up as well, so that would be really cool. Henry, over to you. ZS6MC here from Zulu Romeo 6 Tango Golf.
Yeah, great, Tom. Thank you. Great, Tom. Let me just turn the audio off here. There we go. The audio's off. Nice to see everybody on today. Great stuff. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody who is viewing our broadcast today. Very nice to know that you're out there. And also, I noticed on the BATC web page that Peter is also standing by, GW7BZY. So yeah, great stuff. Very nice indeed. Last week I didn't have time to go on, if I remember correctly, but what I did do is I did watch, and it was also very interesting about the GPSDO that Ed spoke about, and that's exactly what I'm using, Ed. I'm using a dual GPSDO that's been programmed for both 40 megahertz and 25 megahertz, and it works very, very well. The only thing is the path going into the Pluto, I've actually reduced it by 6 dBs through an attenuator, and I'm using the 32 milliamp side all the way into the port, which is the clock port on the LMB, and it really works very, very well. I don't have a problem with it at all. So that's the one thing. The second thing that I did want to mention is that that tiny spectral analyzer sounds very, very good indeed. And lastly, Ed, you're not green here at my QTH at all, so you're coming through extremely well. As you can see, I'm back in the shack. So I'll alternate it from time to time, which is pretty good. And I'll just would like to show you a short video. It's 4 minutes long approximately. Last Sunday I went to a typical cultural fair where we made something called, in Dutch and Afrikaans, it's called potjiekos, which means pot food. It's a stew, and I went around and I videoed people on my phone just for interest. And doing this, cooking this food, and let me tell you, it's exceptional what some of these people can do, the taste they get from their food in the pot. And then at the same time, it was just very, very nice to be with a whole lot of people. So my video, unfortunately, when I took it on the phone, and it was done sideways, and I must admit that when I verticalized it, unfortunately it is very narrow, so please bear with me, and I do apologize for that. So let's see what we can come up with. I'm going to try and do this and see if we can see something. So here we go.
What happens später in Wahnsinn, wie alles
Did you say beef?
Beef, yeah. Beef and onions.
Did you guys cheat with some brown onions?
But I do want to take this, because this will go international.
That looks amazing, eh? That looks amazing.
It really does.
Thank you for the support.
Hi there. I need a spoon to...
Thank you. We can give you a piece of... Are we allowed to smile? Show some teeth. Yes. Never trust a skinny chef. Which is why we're okay. We're all good.
want to get me in there?
It's 41 and the biggest one. We're being anyway. There.
Okay.
So, sorry.
Thank you.
So, there's a bar right to my left here. There's a beer, wine, tequila, yes.
One, two, three,
The teamwork, do yourself, be good to them. It's just a good ride. So to children well, what love is it? That's how we go back. If you know your dream, I say
Okay, so there we have it. I thought it would just be something completely different from a South African perspective, and you would have seen something called Roy Necker, which means rednecks, which is a name which the local people have given English-speaking South Africans a name. We called rednecks. Roy Necker. So it's actually very interesting. And there was a nice beer tent called Smack Beer that you would have seen as well. And last but not least, if you look closely, you would have seen the crocodile pot. We even had crocodile there. So from buck to crocodile to normal, and then of course normal eats and chicken, beef, and last but not least, the one little pot was totally vegetarian, and that was the one where I said it would go international. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for your time and your indulgence. Really very nice, and it's very nice to be with you on air today. So there we go. I am now going to hand it over to let me see it. It's now to Nick, G4IMO. Good afternoon to you, Nick. Nice to see you on today. So over to you, Nick. G4IMO, this is ZS6MC. And
Okay, hopefully it's working. Okay. I can hear my sound coming back. This is G4IMO. Put my camera on. There we go. Right, I'm not sure what my lip sync is like, or what, if anything's working, because I've I only very hastily connected everything up, and so I hope it's working okay. Anyway, nice to see everybody this afternoon on the net. As you say, it looks like a bit like a South African net, I think, apart from Ed. So I thought I would come on to show support from the UK. I seen Nigel's there as well, also to give support, so that's very good. I'll make this very short because it is very hot over here in the UK. I wasn't able to come on last weekend. I had a short vacation, so I was away. What was I going to say? Yeah, last Monday it started to get quite hot, and by Tuesday the highest ever recorded temperature in the UK was 40.3 centigrade. So it was incredibly hot, very difficult to sleep at night. And just out of interest, I did switch my my PA on just to see, because I can't monitor the temperature unless the PA's on. So I just put it on to see what the temperature was. And inside the metal cabinet, before I even transmitted, it was 51 degrees. So that's a little bit too hot. At the moment, we're running at 44 degrees. So I think I'll keep this quite short. Okay, on the video, Henry. Excellent video. Very good. Interesting dress code of some of the individuals there, but yeah, and all that food, that was making me feel very hungry. Looks very, very nice. Excellent. Okay, as I say, I'll probably make this my one and only transmission. So I'm not sure if I'll be on next weekend, because there's an amateur radio rally coming up, local to me, which is on August the 7th. Is that next weekend, or is it the weekend after? Anyway, August the 7th, I won't be on. So there we go. Okay, round to Nigel. 2E0 Echo Hotel Hotel. If I can work out how to do this. G4IMO.
Peter. Just want to. I've had a very, very strange thing with your signal experience. I got no audio except when you played your video. So I had to quickly go to the ride, and then I heard your audio quite well. So that's very, very strange. On the mini tuner, I didn't hear anything from your audio. But luckily, I had a backup. And it went out okay on YouTube. So that's all good. Right, I just want to say hello to Johan. He is on frequency ZS6JPL. He's listening, but he says he's not too happy with his mini tuner. So I don't know what's going on. It's working, but he's not too satisfied with the quality. Frank, okay, on the updates, let's just have a look. Your wideband spectrum, there's a couple of ways, but I think the most elegant way would be to use Tom's idea. He's actually developed that for ZS1 mic. So it's an exact duplicate of the beacon, but you're not using any internet whatsoever. And he's even got it to the point where you could see who's on frequency and who's overpowered, as you saw on his clip. So it's an excellent bit of programming that Tom's done there for us. And he's got it working very well. Even on less sophisticated DSP receivers, other than the SPI dongle, he's made it run through like time division multiplexing in a way. So, but I know he hasn't completed that just yet, but very, very good indeed. Ed, no problem with your video. So on your next over, if you don't mind showing us that video, that's going to be good. And I certainly hope your LNB works out okay with the frequency lock onto it, because that's important. And just put it on 25 megs to kick off with, so that everything's standard, because that's the frequency we're all running. You can now, with your new oscillator, change the LNB frequency to something else to get it spot on. So you have like 1 hertz difference, but we don't need that at the moment because the original was just 25 megs. So we're all adopting about the same standard for the tests. And then, right, Tom, I'm glad you came up and introduced your solution to Frank. You see, Frank hasn't been on the frequency, so he's lost out a little bit, but I'm sure he'll contact you and you guys can take it further. Nick, pleased to see you on, and I know you were away on a honeymoon type, well, extended honeymoon, isn't it? 10 years, I think you said. So I hope it was fine, and I hope the chaos at the various airports weren't too severe. And yes, my daughter also told us how hot it was Monday and Tuesday last week. So, or this week still, I think. When's the new week start? Mine normally starts on Monday. But anyway, Nigel, yeah, I had a similar problem. I couldn't get your audio. But anyway, I saw you showing some hand signals in exasperation. So I'm sure you'll come back. And Peter, I have commented. So back to you, Frank, and you pass it to Ed, who can maybe show us that video. Oh, yes. Henry, very good. Very good on the Poiki. I think it was a competition. Some of those dishes I wouldn't touch. I'm not into wild dish and definitely not crocodile. But anyway, I suppose there are different palates all over. And it looks like you guys had a good time and enjoyable time. And the video came out okay. You can crop it differently, because obviously the type of camera you used, I gave you a very slanted, very narrow picture, but that can be sorted as well, just by enlarging and cropping what you don't want. Okay, with that, back to you, Frank. ZS6 Golf Echo from ZS6 Yankee India. ZS6 Golf Echo.
Yes. Okay, jumping straight to Peter. I had the same effect, no sound on the live camera, but the video is all right. So I'm not quite sure how you got around that, Gary. You had some sort of standby. I missed it, what it was. But yeah, it's strange. Anyway, Okay, thanks for the suggestions regarding the spectrum. I see PA2JSA also suggested to use a scan and tune software, but I'm not sure. I seem to think in the back of my mind that the Bluetooth can't handle the required bandwidth. Especially if you also want to transmit on it, I think then the maximum is 5 meg. I seem to remember, but anyway, I might be wrong. So that seems to be the real sort of bottleneck. But yeah, I'll investigate it. And Tom, yeah, yours is also an option. So if it has a separate little screen, then that means I don't have to clutter up even more or cram even more into the monitors I have here. But yeah, if it can be shown as an option, it would also be nice. In other words, if I don't know if I don't need that automatic one, that the internet provided one, then I have a little bit space on the screen. It's getting crowded. That TV story is rather screen intensive. Let's put it this way. Poikikos, yeah, is nice. I never made it. I'm not good at that, nor am I good at barbecue or braai, like they call it here. But I don't mind eating it. Let's put it this way. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if I make it another time. So sort of at 4 o'clock our time, or 1600 to be precise, I have to be downstairs. So I'll give it back to it from ZS6 Golf Echo.
Roger that. Zulu Sierra 6 Golf Echo, Papa Yankee 2 Radio November returning. Before you go, Frank, let me show you what I was talking about. Certainly, Tom's application shows much more information, but this is like a dumb spectrum analyzer, and that's the one I use. It goes up to 9600 megahertz, so it's suitable to connect to your LNB port, one of the ports if you have available. If not, you can use a splitter, and it allows you to see the entire wideband spectrum, and it's pretty nice, yeah. All right. Thank you guys for letting me know that my transmission is okay. So probably the graying is related to my reception being affected by my transmission. I need to check that later. I will wish to thank Henry and Peter for the very nice videos. I just love to see those picturistic videos from your locations, guys. It's very interesting. And for Henry, I was well, I don't know, but this is just before lunch here, and yeah, like Nick mentioned, I'm really hungry. And I could even almost smell all that food that's through your short video. Very interesting. And regarding the crocodile, there is a interesting thing. Many years ago, I was in Canada, and there was like a food fair in the gardens of a casino they have there. I think it's Montreal. And I saw a Brazilian shack, with all the flags and and the green and yellow colors. I say, wow, that's interesting. Let's see what those guys are cooking for a typical Brazilian food. So I approach and say, okay, hi, what are you cooking for typical Brazilian food? And the guy said, well, we are doing alligator meat. I said, what? Alligator meat? Come on. I never ate alligator meat in Brazil in my life. I mean, I don't even know anybody that has eaten alligator. Well, maybe some, but it's far to be a typical Brazilian food. Anyways, that's great. Just a quick report to Tom. Very nice transmission as always. Very good. And Nick. Glad to see you. Wow, 50 degrees. It's even worse than here in the summer. I do have a remote temp sensor in my amplifier box, and when the amplifier is still off, I could read about 46, 48 degrees, but never reach output up to 50 degrees. So your heat is violent, man. Nigel, beautiful signal, beautiful image, but no audio. For Peter, interesting. I was able to hear you, Peter, even through my mini tuner, but your microphone audio was mono channel. I mean, just one channel. I could hear you just in one channel. And your movie, I was able to hear 2 channels stereo. No problems, but your microphone came in as a mono channel. I see that Martin is also joining. Hey, Martin. Glad to see you. Okay, guys, the movie I'm going to show you actually is divided in 3 parts. It's nothing new. I mean, maybe some of you have seen already. The first movie is from a guy that has a YouTube channel. I put the credits. And he explains very clearly and very briefly how the Voyager space probes operate, which they were gonna make 45 years traveling through the space in next September. I'm a big fan of those machines, Voyagers. Both of them are out of solar system already, so they are in interstellar space now. So the first part is gonna to let you know that, and also there is a site from NASA, I think many of you know already, that actually shows the current status for each one of those space probes they monitor. And as you can see, Voyager 2 is still alive and sending data. Voyager 2 is currently at almost 20 billion kilometers far from us. The round trip light time takes 1 day and a half. It means that if you send 1 bit of information, it will take 1 day and a half to get there and to get here as well. And they also report, the data rate is running on 160 bits per second. That's the operational frequency on X band, and that's the signal level this ground station is receiving currently, which is Canberra. Though this data is almost live, as you can see on the NASA DSN site. So that's amazing. Okay, so let's play the video before things. It's about 5 minutes video, and hope you guys enjoy it. Oh, the last part is like an animated cartoon, also nothing new, but I found particularly touching, and I confess that I got even a little emotional with that cartoon. It's like a 2 minutes cartoon. So hope you guys enjoy, and I promise that I'm gonna start playing the video as soon as I finally find it. Yeah, I found it. Okay.
In 1977, the Voyager 1 space probe was launched to study the outer solar system. The 2 Voyager space probes have become the longest operating spacecrafts in spaceflight history. 41 years later, Voyager 1 is now 21 billion kilometers from Earth, and traveling at 61,000 kilometers per hour. Despite Voyager 1 being the farthest man-made object from Earth, we are still able to communicate with the space probe on a regular basis. But how far can it go before we can no longer communicate with it? To answer this, we need to know how Voyager 1 receives and transmits data from 21 billion kilometers away. A 20 kilowatt signal is transmitted from Earth to Voyager 1 using radio waves. It takes almost 20 hours for the signal to reach the space probe, where its sensitive antenna picks up the signal. For comparison, it takes the rovers on Mars an average of just 15 minutes to send messages back to Earth. Voyager starts sending data back to Earth using a 20-watt signal. As it travels through space, the signal strength weakens, and by the time it reaches Earth, the signal is barely detectable. In order to communicate with objects that are this far away, it doesn't really matter how strong the signal is, as long as you have a receiver that is sensitive enough to pick it up. NASA uses the Deep Space Network, which consists of 3 antenna complexes equally spaced around the Earth. Each complex has a huge 70-meter antenna, along with multiple 34-meter antennae, which can be combined to pick up signals that are thousands of times weaker than your standard FM radio signal. The Deep Space Network spends several hours each day listening to faint signals from Voyager 1, and so far, it continues to talk back to us. Since our methods of detecting signals has improved drastically over the past 50 years, there isn't really a limit on how far we can communicate with objects in space. With our current technology, we could reliably communicate with objects that are many light years away from us, as long as our receivers are sensitive and accurate enough to pick up the extremely weak signals. As Voyager travels farther and farther away from Earth, it takes longer to send and receive signals. The signal strength also gets weaker, and data rates become slower, making it harder and harder to communicate with the spacecraft. Voyager 1 will continue on its journey indefinitely, and although there is technically no limit to how far we can communicate, our communication with Voyager 1 only has a few years left. Since Voyager 1 is nuclear-powered, the electrical power weakens each day. In 1990, in order to save power, engineers turned off the spacecraft's camera after Voyager 1 took the famous pale blue dot image, which showed Earth as a tiny blue pixel against the darkness of space. Today, only 4 out of the 11 scientific instruments on Voyager 1 are still active. These instruments are being used to collect data on magnetic fields, solar winds, and cosmic rays outside our solar system. In around 8 years, Voyager 1 will completely run out of power and will no longer be able to keep its instruments going. Scientists will continue to communicate with the space probe and receive the important information it gathers until it eventually sends its last bit of data and disappears silently into space, never to be heard from ever again. So although the end is near for the Voyager space probes, we can appreciate the incredible journey they have been on and the valuable science they have taught us.
let me turn on my audio. That's it. I mean, unfortunately, I could not identify or find who was the author for that animated cartoon that I particularly found very touching and very interesting, even funny. It's very nice. Okay, so too long. So I wish you all a great upcoming week, and thank you very much for this another great NET 73 greetings from Brazil, PY2RN, and which I'm going to. I think now is Tom, Zulu Radio 6 Tango Golf. So please, Tom, go ahead. 73 to all.
Okay, thanks Ed. Papa Yankee 2 to Romeo November, ZR6 Tango Golf. Okay, audio is working. No, that was really cool, Ed. I really enjoyed the videos there. First one was very informative, and the last one, yeah, definitely an emotional clip there. But yeah, no, it's very interesting how far it's gone, and you know that we're still receiving data from it. So yeah, definitely enjoyed that. Thanks for that. Well, nice net. Really nice to see everybody. Frank, yeah, no, go ahead and well have a look there, and if you need help with my solution, just let me know, and we can have a chat. Henry, very nice video. Enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, definitely made me angry as well, even though it's already after lunch. The crocodile poikie, I can imagine, is quite good. We've been to a crocodile farm here in South Africa, and they had crocodile burgers, and those were quite good, so I can imagine the poikie be good as well. I think the only poikie that turned me off there was the vegetarian poikie. I mean, come on, can't have a poikie without decent meat. But yeah, thanks for sharing that there. Nick, good to see you as well. As always, great video and audio. Sorry to hear about all the heat there. Nigel, yeah, look, very good video, but no sound whatsoever on my side. Peter, yeah, nice video and audio. I got audio on both yours when you were live and on the video itself, so no issues receiving you there. So yeah, worked well, and thanks for sharing that video. Yeah, I think that's everybody. Martin, hi to you as well. I'm wondering if you're gonna pop up as well. Let's see who else is there. Yeah, I think that's. Sorry if I missed anybody. Katie, thanks for running the net as usual. And no, it was a blast. And yeah, I should have some more interesting stuff again next week, depending on how the work week goes. And yeah, other than that, 73 to everybody. Hope everyone has fun, and we'll chat soon. And I'm gonna hand it back to Henry, ZS6MC here from ZR6 Tango Golf.
Thank you, Tom. So just check audio. Yep, it's there. So thank you very much, and yeah, thank you to everybody. Thank you to Gary for running the net. I really appreciate it, Gary, as always. And it's always good to see what everybody's up to. Really great indeed. And I didn't comment on Frank on my last over, Frank, so you must please forgive me, but your goodies look very interesting. Yes, ever so now and again, I think something has to be done in the shack. As you can see, mine is quite cluttered, and I'm trying my best to prevent things from increasing inside the shack. Very difficult, I must say, because I like collecting, but I know that if I bring something in, I have to remove something or get rid of something. So that's the philosophy I try and use. And Frank, yeah, I had Peter all the way through. Peter, I had my renderer on my mini tuner set to VLC DLL. So I don't know if that made a difference, because I'm not using Longman client at the moment. I'm actually going straight hardware from the mini tuner to the laptop. So I don't know if that made a difference. Today I just wanted to see what my signal was like. You know, what was I receiving everything at, and yeah, that was the objective, and just to see what my quality of my signal is. I forgot to do this, so just let me switch on the light so that at least you guys can see me better. And yeah, so Frank, good to hear you, and I'll make contact with you during the week, just for the fun of it. I also need to make contact with Gary and Tom during the week. All right, Ed, incredibly interesting, superb, really. Ed, you always come up with something completely different, and that to me is exciting. I must admit, it doesn't matter what, it's just absolutely exciting. And yes, it's, if you follow the path of Voyager, and you know, at the end it goes into the black hole and then comes out again and it's back on Earth. So yeah, I do admit it is a very touching video, really is. And thanks for sharing that with us, Ed. And hopefully next week we'll see another one. And by the way, my wife also commented on the fact that your videos that you start with, you know, your intro is also quite very interesting. And my wife was the lady right at the end when she hugged the young lass. So that was her. Also made an entry into the video. Just to go down the list and to comment, Tom, yes, always good, Tom, always good from you, my friend, and always something new that you are busy with, and that to me is great. I am going to try the same as what Frank and Leon they're going to do. I also want to just do a straightforward hardware decode on the Spectrum, and not to do it via the web. I will do that, but when I see you this week, Tom, if you're not, if you are available, then I'll chat to you about it, because the other one that I thought that you would be busy with as well is STR Play, the RP1A. That is slightly more affordable than the STR Play. Is it STR Play? SPI, sorry. Yeah. So that is, and that's, you know, that's good entry into doing things like that. I'm also trying to get somebody else onto satellite, but I'll first start with narrowband and then move him onto DATV. You'll know him, Gary. Right, Peter, excellent video from you as well. I always love seeing the, and I think Ed also mentioned it, the human interest story, where you see the different people and their dress codes and what they do and their mannerisms and so on. And yes, Gary was quite right. It was a pot food competition that was running, and so they all dressed up and they all had labels and things like that, which is always quite interesting. What else do I want to comment on? I've commented on Peter. Nick, always good to see you, Nick. Regardless, always good to see you, and always nice to chat to you as well. So I hope you and your good missus had a good 10th year anniversary. It's really great to know there are people still on 10. I must admit, with Lindsay, I am now on 16 years, I think it is. So yeah, it is 16 years. Got to keep track of all these things. And to come back to Nigel, what I liked is your fan in the background. Obviously, you must get hot at times, so you need to cool yourself down. I found that interesting. That's a fan right there by your head. And unfortunately, I didn't hear anything, Nigel, so I don't know. Maybe you could just check your audio input setting, but I'm sure you'll get it right in a moment. That's for sure. Let's see. Peter, yes, comment to you, Peter. Thanks for sharing that once again, as I said before, and always interesting. I also thought maybe you were also on the sax, actually, because I saw you playing sax once on over the air, so that so I thought maybe you would be involved there. But anyway, who am I missing out on? I can't think, and if I've missed out on anybody, oh, of course, How are you, Martin? I hope you're well and everything's going nicely on your side. I hope your new shed is complete and you've done your thing and you're now kitting it all out. Maybe you don't want to come on because you want to surprise us at the end of the day with the full kit out of your new ham shack, I would presume. I'm sure with looking at the way you do things, it's going to be absolutely magnificent. And last but not least, Gary, once again, thank you for running the net. Really much appreciated. And hope to see you. I don't think I'll be around next weekend, but nonetheless, if I have time and I get into the shack a little bit late, I certainly will be looking on YouTube. So 73 to all, and we'll speak to each other again. Thank you very much. So ZS6YI, I don't know if I've missed anybody out. I don't know, maybe Martin, you want to take it over? I'll pass it to you, G4FKK. If not, please, Gary, take it. This is ZS6MC now, wishing you all 73. I'll listen to the end. Bye now.
Well, that took me by surprise. I'm not sure if Nick and Peter and Nigel are still around, but anyway, I'll pop in. Thank you very much, Henry. Good to see you on as well. And yeah, well, the workshop's not finished. Apologies, by the way, for the strange camera angle and quality. I'm just on a webcam, and we've got the blazing Saharan sun booming in from behind me, so I've had to twist the camera around, otherwise it flares out. Yeah, anyway, good stuff. I got into the shack very late, so I'm the late arrival to the worldwide net ball, as it were. But I think I've seen everyone now, at least once, and yeah, the 10 years anniversary. Well done, Henry. We've been married 35 years, I've just worked out. Yeah, the workshop's not finished. I'm looking for windows. I refuse to pay 400 quid for a window, so I'm looking for second-hand ones, but we'll get there. Yeah, Nick, 40 degrees was just unbearable for me anyway. Nigel, good to see you. Although I didn't hear you either. And Peter, it doesn't always rain in Wales, but you do have much wetter rain than anyone else. It's marvellous rain in Wales. My son's been working up at the Royal Welsh Show the last couple of weeks, and it certainly got hot there, so you must be in that very, very cool part of Wales. Nice to see Frank. Haven't seen you for ages, Frank. It was great to see you. Yeah, great video, Ed. Well, I think there was some Star Trek thing, wasn't there, once, where Voyager came back and it had become intelligent or something, so you'll have to look out for that one. And isn't it amazing? 1.5 light days away. Incredible. And it took 45 years to get there, I think you said. So yeah, amazing. And on the strange meats, Ed and Henry, there used to be a brilliant restaurant on the Isle of Wight called Ferrets, and I remember the chap who recommended, oh, you want to go to Ferrets, they do every kind of meat there. There's everything on the menu except ferret, actually. But we had kudu and they had crocodile and everything. It was a marvellous place, and it was run by a chap who'd lived in Africa for many years, and there was a really good vibe. Needless to say, they went bust, so it's not there anymore. Right, Tom, good to see you on as well. I did miss your demo of whatever you were demoing, but I've been busy. Well, I'm using your Winter Hill at the moment. I was just going to flick something on for Nigel here. Hang on a sec. Yeah, Nigel, if you... I was asking about your what version of VLC you were running, not which version of whatchamacallit, Winter Hill. So if you go to there and I'll have to go on there, won't I? Hang on. If you go and if you click on help and about, you should then get, if I get this right, you should get a thing showing this, and there's the version there, 3.0.16. That's what I'm running anyway. Whether that's the problem or not, I just don't know. Right, let's put that back on. Okay, well, I'll shut up. Sorry I was late, and I don't know where Leon is today, but I shall look forward to perhaps seeing you all next week if I've got a bit more. Oh, actually, oh no, I think I'm around next week. Right. So, well, Henry put it back to you, Gary, and I'm not sure if that was correct or not, but I will. I'll leave it to you to sort out what should happen. So it's G4 Fox King King signing with the group and wishing all a very good afternoon. Cheerio.
Okay, we've skipped 2 people. Let me just see. Nigel, would you like to try and take it? And would you pass it to Peter, Golf Whiskey 7 Bravo Zulu Yankee? And I think the reason why I didn't pick you up or receive your audio, Peter, is because I've got a mono plug and you might have been on the other channel if it's a stereo thing. And I think Ed alluded to that. So anyway, next week I'll have a proper stereo output. I never use stereo on the receive, but that's perhaps the reason. Okay, Nigel, are you ready to take it? I'm sorry, yeah, I got 2 Echo 0, Echo Hotel from Zulu Sierra 6, Yankee, India. I wonder, Peter, would you like to take it from ZS6YI? You pass it back.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Gary, that would have been the problem. I was going to say on my next on this over that the I'm running a mono audio here. Just the one microphone, which does the audio. Although I've got microphones on the camera, but anyway, with vMix, I have a facility to combine them. But so far, I know on OBS there is a box you can tick for mono audio, and I failed to tick it, so I expect it's my problem. Yes, it wasn't me playing the saxophone as it happened. Although I can play the saxophone, I have a bit of video of, which is not of me actually playing of me playing the saxophone, but I am playing the saxophone in the video. If you see what I'm saying, I don't know if we've got time for it now. I don't know. Might do. So it's a few minutes long. But excellent from everybody. They're good to see the latest one, Martin, I think it is, FFK, yeah. It doesn't rain here all the time, but I was thought I was wrong about it, but I'd just been outside and I could feel the familiar wet of the very fine rain. Drizzle. In the summer we have drizzle more than rain, although everything is wet and the gutters are dripping away, you can hear them running. And I do believe in some parts of Wales it isn't raining as much. It doesn't rain as much. We have Blaen y Ffestiniog, which is up in the mountains here, and I think their annual rainfall is in the negative. I don't know how they work that, but I think it rains there more often than there are days. So probably starts in the morning, stops a little while and rains the rest of the day. I don't know how they calculate that, but it rains a lot. And it seems to rain here a lot as well, which is all right, I suppose. But if you do depend on any activity that requires dryness, then it's a non-starter on a regular basis. You know, we get a nice. It's not true that it's always raining. Every sort of 7-8 years, we do get a really nice weather that actually lasts more than a couple of days. Not this year though. Whilst I was in Bournemouth, it was raining here. The mother-in-law reported the weather, and it still rained here. It was drizzly and wet. And we did have the heat wave, which lasted 1 day, 1 or 2 days. And the Tuesdays, was it Tuesday, Wednesday, the rest of the country, for us, it was half a day, I think it was in. As I repeat myself now. But anyway, enough of the weather. Video, yes, more video. Hopefully somebody's around to see it. But this is for those who mentioned me playing the saxophone, really, they're to blame. So we'll go with this. Hopefully it's not too cryptic. This was my second effort into animation, and I broke a few rules in the aspect of filming. I was going to add some live video to it, but I never got around to it. It took me about 6 months to render it, and the computer I used at the time died in the process, so it gave its life for this film. So I hope it's not too bad. There we go. So, there we go. There we are. That's me playing the saxophone. Obviously a different style. I need written music really to play saxophone. I didn't start playing till I was well into my 40s really. So I'm new to the saxophone. Thank you there, Nigel. Yeah. Hopefully I got it on 2 channels this time. I have my microphone's combined now on 2 channels, and that I think went on stereo. I can't remember if they made it in stereo or not. So there we are. I'll hand it round to whoever's next from GWZY. And probably my last over. I think probably that will finish soon. From GW7BZY.
Nigel. Anyway, I'm sure you'll clear it up in no time. It can be a bit daunting at times. I don't know what stream you're running, what protocol. We use at the moment the free stream coder by F1 Echo Juliet Papa. And sometimes if you don't synchronize that with your normal Pluto controller, then, or DATV controller, Pluto DATV controller, you have a similar problem. So I've had it many times, as have all the others on frequency. So not to worry too much, Nigel. Peter, excellent. That was very, very well done. That animation must have taken you ages to do. Really, really, really well done. I'm just going to put a light on, see what difference it makes. I was just experimenting just now. Anyway, well done and well played. And the bit of humor with that bottle, I tell you, they had a mind of their own, those last 2 guys. And then you go and screw it up by hitting the high note. I tell you, that's a type of video that one can expand on in a, shall we say, a lower grade class on physics, on audio, say grade 8 or standard 9 or so, thereabout. I'm sure that that will be a very good video to show what audio frequency can do, in theory. I still have to see a lady, well, maybe the Welsh can do it because they got wonderful voices by average, but I yet to see somebody crack a wine glass. I've seen videos and movies of it, but I haven't seen it in real life. Anyway, with that, I'm going to wish everyone on frequency a very happy week. We look forward to the next week. And Tom, look forward to something new from your end. And let's hope the weather cools down a little bit your side, Martin, or, well, the whole UK for that matter. And thank you all for coming up. So with that, this is ZS6YI going to close the net. Wish everyone on frequency a happy week. And just throw the ball in the air for whoever wants to continue. ZS6 Yankee India, now QRT. Cheers, guys.